What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and today Ghost Galaxy did my work for me, which saves me a little bit of time and effort. They put up an announcement that is for the final hours of the Gamefound, and they put together all of the spoilers that everybody had, and I was going to go through all of those, but now I don't have to go hunting and collecting all the images. I can just do it here. Which will save us a little bit of time. So let's go through it and take a look. They also have a special set of spoilers at the end, so we'll go through it. But yeah, let's just go through their announcement, because if they're going to do the work for me, let's let them do the work for me. The campaign ends tomorrow. We also do a content creator spoiler roundup. Heck yeah. We've reached the final hours of Keyforge Draconian Measures Gamefound Campaign. Campaign closes tomorrow at 10 a.m. Yeah, so the last set of spoilers came out today, and it's going to close tomorrow at 10, so it was going to be a tight window, but they did the work for me, so here we go. Be sure to get your pledges in before then to be eligible for stretch goal rewards. Content Creator Roundup. We want to send a big thank you to all our content creators who joined us in spoiling some of the cards from Keyforge Draconian Measures. If you missed their content, here's a look at the cards they spoiled and a link to their content on it. Use the links, check their stuff, go to them first. It's definitely the thing to do. I'm just rounding it all up in one place so that you can see all of them in one place. They're also doing that on the Gamefound, so if you're already pledged and you're already looking at that and you're paying attention to those things, pay attention to there too. But I figured to just give it one more once over. Couldn't hurt. So here's Bad Penny Presses. They started the spoilers. You can go read their article from, I think, 2 weeks ago where they have these spoilers. But they are Agorum, 7-power dragon leader. While Agorum is in the center of your battle line, friendly creatures get +5 power. Pretty good. I actually like that as a leader effect quite a lot. And an Aquidon action. Both of these are printed at rare, by the way. The action has an Amber Pip, and it says, play, give control of 2 friendly creatures to your opponent. If you do, take control of 2 enemy creatures. That's actually pretty neat. It's a good way to take creatures from your opponent if you want them. It's also a good way to give away creatures that have Amber on them. And in a worst case, you give them 2 creatures that you immediately take back, and you gained an Amber. So, yeah, I think that's pretty solid all the way around. No complaints. No flavor text on these 2. That's going to be an ongoing trend. We're going to just kind of skip around in these videos to find what we're looking for. So this is kind of hard to see there, but this is Kaipo. He's a 5-power, 1-armor Aquan creature from Unfathomable with Taunt, and at the end of your turn, you fully heal each of his neighbors, which I actually think makes him a pretty good Taunt creature. Strong enough to take a bit of a beating with an effect that's actually useful on a taunt creature. I think he's actually pretty great. Maybe not the best ever, but pretty good. The other one they showed off is a Shadows action. This is Rain and Cycle. This one's really weird. It says, it has an Amber Pip, and it says, pay your opponent 1 Amber. If you do, take control of an enemy creature or artifact, which is super odd. I'm pretty sure that one's printed at a rare also. So there's a lot of these kind of steal effects of creatures happening that are kind of interesting. Not bad, not bad. Archons Corner put out theirs. Their 2 were Claymore, a 1-power elf soldier. By the by, one of my favorite names in the cards we've seen so far. And one of the only cards we're going to see with flavor text. Claymore has enhanced damage, and he has destroyed, deal 2 damage to each enemy flank creature, which that's not bad either. And his flavor text is front towards enemy, all caps. Those of you who have never been in the military or don't know anyone who's been in the military, that's what's printed on the front of Claymore mines so that you set them correctly so that they affect the enemy and not yourself. So that's pretty funny. Then we have Martian Propagation, a card that has me deeply concerned. This card is a rare. It has an Amber Pip, and it says, play, destroy each friendly creature. For each creature destroyed this way, draw 2 cards. If there's key abduction in this set, this will be a horrendous problem. And I don't like key abduction. I think it's too powerful. I've commented on that before. That comment remains true. Martian Propagation causes problems if it's combined with key abduction or even some other Mars stuff. So that's just really, really good, and I don't like it. All right, and then we scroll down to my good buddy Amber Meaties.
Hello, my fellow Archons, and
a couple of spoilers as well. So his are Valera Whisperfang. This is an uncommon Shadows creature with 3 power. It's an elf thief that says after your opponent plays a creature, deal 2 damage to it. That's not a bad effect. And that's not double-sided at all. That's just a straight up, that's what it do. And then he also got Chlorodos Vapors. This is another rare. This is a Ouroboros action. Play, deal 3 damage to each creature. For each creature destroyed this way, exhaust a creature, which is awesome because it's a pseudo board wipe that if it doesn't wipe the board, lets you exhaust everything that survived. So I like that quite a lot. No flavor text on either of those. And then Archons de Crogiolo got a couple of spoilers as well. So we're going to take a look at his. So his 2 are Malforge. This is an interesting Skyborn creature. It's a beast cyborg with treachery and versatile that says you cannot forge keys. Now this doesn't just skip a forge key step. It straight up cannot forge, which is interesting. It also says at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to it. So in 3 turns, it'll die unless your opponent finds a way to kill it faster, which I don't think is going to be too difficult. And then he also had Chromatic Guardian, 4 power, 1 armor, Getruka Soldier, that has Fight Reap. If you're overwhelmed, destroy an enemy artifact, otherwise draw a card, which I think is actually excellent because you get value out of it either way. Overwhelmed or not, it's going to do something cool. I like Aquidon in this set quite a bit. The Warcast Reforged, their 2 were Hemogrith, a 2 power unfathomable beast that said play. If your opponent has no exhausted creatures, they lose 2 amber, which is kind of mean because most cross-set play, they're not going to have any exhausted creatures. And this is a common, so you're going to see several of these. So that's actually pretty mean for playing against older sets. They also had an Aquidon creature, Vast Stoic. He's a 4 power, 1 armor, Getruka Soldier with Taunt that says after fight, move an amber from a creature to the common supply. If you do draw a card, I like that. You can get an amber off of your own creature and draw, or even get an amber off an opponent's creature and draw. It's not as good as getting the amber probably, but it's still getting some value out of it. And he's 4 power, 1 armor, so he's got enough of a punch that he can do a bit of fighting, which I think is kind of interesting. Also, no flavor text on either of these. Vast Stoic and Chromatic Guardian might be a new variety of Getrukia that we've not seen before, and that's why they have 2 arms instead of 4. Maybe. I'm trying to open my mind to other possible explanations for why Getrukia have the wrong number and type of arms. Maybe there's multiple sub-varieties that we've never gotten told about before. And that explains why Bypass Burglar has 4 normal-looking arms and doesn't have the big crab claw or the little dish. Maybe. I doubt it. I think it's more just an art error, or they just didn't have time to stylize them the way they wanted, or I don't know. But if this is the case, give me a lore blurb. Explain it to me. Give me an explanation. Help from Future Self got to do theirs. This was at the end of last week, or beginning of last week, middle of last week. This was last week, I think. And theirs are Fading Apparition. It's a 3 power Spectre AI with Entrench that says while Fading Apparition is exhausted, any amber you would gain from reaping may be moved from a creature to your pool instead. This is very, very good, but I think most of the time I'm not going to entrench it. I'm just going to play it out and then use it by reaping with my other Geistoid creatures. Still pretty good. That's printed in a common. And then Pip the Pilferer. This guy's wild. He's a 2 power dragon. We've seen his art everywhere. But 2 power, he's got to be tiny. And so he's way, 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 way smaller than I thought he was going to be. And he says, play if your opponent has more... Sorry, my cat has decided that she cannot be quiet. She's going to make a little bit of noise. Are you settled? Is that an okay spot? No? Okay. He has play if your opponent has more forged keys than you, steal 2, otherwise capture 2. Pretty good in both cases. Steal obviously better. We got some spoilers from Fudginator. He had Deep Blue Bryn. This is another Skyborn creature. 4 power human cyborg. After fight, steal 1. If a blue key is forged, ward Deep Blue Bryn. So this seems to be the way they're approaching key color effects in Skyborn now, is it just cares if any key of that color is forged, and it doesn't care about yours versus your opponent's, which I think is fine. But it's a little more simplistic than it has been before. And we get our second card with flavor text from Fudgenator as well. This is Apoptosis. It's a Geistoid action with an Amber Pip that says, play, purge a card from your discard pile. If you do, a friendly creature captures 2. I think captures 2 is pretty good. It reminds me a little bit of the Dis action from Prophetic Visions, where you could purge a card and then your opponent would lose 2. I think this is a little bit more fair version of that. The flavor text is for the good of the many, which is good. We got some flavor text there, but I think those are the only 2 cards in this whole batch that have flavor text. So disappointment abounds for me. Wigsby, who I'm pretty sure rounded out last week, had a video where he went over his spoilers. I think this is the shortened one. Yeah, this is the shortened one he put up on YouTube. So he has a longer video that you can find over on Twitch where he goes over the whole thing, but this is the shortened one he put up on YouTube. So his 2 were Holographic Banshee, 3-power AI Spectre with Enhanced Geistoid, which means house enhancements are sticking around. I was really hoping we wouldn't have house enhancements for this set, but here they are. And he says each friendly Geistoid creature gains Versatile, which I don't like, because my one problem with house enhancements when they announced them was I don't want any creature to be enhanced into every house and therefore be able to be used, creatures or artifacts or actions or upgrades, to be usable no matter what house you pick. And what this guy basically does is say, well, all your Geistoid gets that. Oh, and you have 2 extra Geistoid. And they might be creatures. Like, that's just way too strong. Geistoid, why do you need to be so ridiculously overpowered? Please let the darkness consume Geistoid. They're just too good, and I don't respect it. And then his other card is Hoarding the Goods. This is a common for Uboros. It has an Amber Pip on it and says play, each friendly exhausted creature captures 1, which I think is pretty good. I think it's similar to a cards we've seen before. So that's going to be a pretty strong capture, but not like a absolutely insane one. And then Floxamal put his video up earlier today, and his 2 spoilers. By the way, check out all these creators' videos. I'm skipping through their commentary, but they have great commentary. His 2 spoilers are Bastion Claw. This is an uncommon Uboros creature, 4-power, 2-armor dragon that says your keys cost -1 for each forged key your opponent has, which is quite good. I like key cost reduction for my opponent being ahead of me. That seems like it could actually be pretty good. And then a Mars artifact called Ziz's Compactor. It has action, put a creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. I like how he's got like a little black hole in his hands. Super, super cool. And I think Ziz's is a creature we've seen before, but I can't remember for sure, so I would have to look that up to be sure on that. And then the last thing is they showed off the Dragon Scale border and gave us 2 more spoilers. So one of the special items is a Dragon Scale deck. It also features a special border treatment. Here's what those border treatments look like. That's super cool. The 2 cards are Giltum Good, which is a Skyborn action that says play, each friendly flank creature captures 1. If a yellow key is forged, repeat this effect. So again, we see that it's kind of just caring about if a key of that color is forged at all, not whose key it is. And then Ruby Rackham, 3-power, 1-armor human Stormkin, with after fight, if a red key is forged, deal 4 damage to each enemy flank creature, otherwise deal 1 damage to each enemy flank creature. So I think they've also solidified what the different colors care about, with red keys caring about offense, blue keys caring about defense, and yellow keys caring about amber interactions. Capturing, stealing, that sort of thing, and possibly having other specialized effects. Which I think is good. I really needed key colors to like have a meaning. So the red ones are going to do things that are offensive, dealing damage and things like that. The blue ones are probably going to do things that are defensive, warding creatures, giving taunts, that sort of thing. And the yellow ones are going to do other stuff, including amber interactions like capturing, stealing, causing stuns, that sort of thing. Which I think is very good. Very good to like formulate those and give them a set formula for how they work. I also really hope that yellow's going to primarily be a Dagion, red's going to primarily be Stormkin, and blue is primarily going to be Halyards, which we don't know that to be the case, but I think that that's a thing they could do. So anyway, those those are the spoilers. Check out everybody's content. They all did great stuff. It's definitely worth the read. pledge if you haven't already. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time is when it closes. We're really close. In fact, we might have crested it, but I'll take a look. Yeah, we got to 250,000, which means you do get a full art deck along with your pledge. So if you want those stretch goals, you absolutely have to pledge before the time closes, and you've only got a little less than 24 hours left. You got about 20 hours left. So now's the time. Put your pledges in. That's all I have for you today. So until next time, later, Archons.